Welcome to New Possibilities. I speak truth to power without fear. I'm gonna wait a couple of seconds. There was some technical difficulties. Just bear with me a second. I'm trying to adjust everything. Let's see. Just bear with me a second. Shout out to the people who are in. Hopefully you can hear me. Can you all hear me okay? I'm gonna have to put it this way so I won't get this error message. Hold on one second, y'all. Yeah, so Hollow Ninja said I should cover the work T.I. is doing. I'm going to get around to that. I am going to talk about that soon. Um, so y'all hear me okay? Y'all see me okay? This is going to be a short little hangout. I just wanted to share some thoughts about a couple of things so y'all can bear with me. And I have the camera upright because there were some technical difficulties that I wanted to clear up. Okay. All right, so I'm going to get started in a second. I want to talk about this whole Donald Trump situation. How many of y'all know what's going on with Donald Trump and this press conference that he did? How many of y'all know about this press conference? So I'm going to look at your comments real quick before I continue on to discuss the subject matter. Miss Minor, I don't know if that officer was Hispanic, that police chief. I don't think he was Hispanic. That sounds like a Italian name to me, um, but I could be wrong. Shout out to Macom. Yeah, I'm gonna get started. I'm gonna talk about some stuff. So Macom said he's been following or her or she is. I'm not sure if you're a man or a woman, so if you could let me know. I can't really see your avatar. Um, but from what you're saying, that you've been following the press conference. You're in the UK. There's been a lot of demonstrations. As many people know, thousands upon thousands of people were demonstrating against Donald Trump in the UK, and I commend those people for doing so. I salute them. They're saying dump Donald Trump and all kinds of stuff. They had a big balloon caricature of Donald Trump that has gotten a lot of press and everything. So I really respect the people in London and all over the UK who are marching and demonstrating against this clown, this buffoon Donald Trump. I got to give them much respect for protesting against this guy. But I wanted to take time right now to talk about this press conference that Donald Trump did with Putin. And I'm going to get around to your comments in a second after I just provide this initial commentary. So Donald Trump did this press conference with Putin, who's the president of Russia. They did this press conference, and someone basically asked him, one of the reporters asked Donald Trump this. They said, would you tell Donald Trump to denounce what happened in 2016 and tell him not to do it again? That's what this reporter asked Donald Trump. And when we talk about what happened in 2016, we're talking about the fact that you have these U.S. intelligence agencies who found that the Russians tried to intervene and did, in fact, intervene in the U.S. elections by spreading misinformation, by spreading fake news, and they actually were intervening in favor of Donald Trump getting elected. They used social media. This is well documented how they used social media to spread misinformation about the election and to cause division and conflict among the American people. All this stuff is well documented. And we all know what's going on with the Trump administration. They're being investigated for colluding with the Russians during this election, this past presidential election. And we know that many people who were members of the Trump campaign and even members of his administration have been indicted for various offenses connected with this allegation of colluding with the Russians. You have people who have lied to federal agents and they face potential charges for that. You know, we have all these people who denied having connections with the Russians. It turns out that they've had interactions and connections with the Russians after presenting fake information to the American people about how they did not have any connections with the Russians. You had all of these people deny meeting with Russians. Turns out that they did, in fact, meet with Russians. I think it's only a matter of time before this Trump administration get exposed for what it is. And this press conference is some indication that Donald Trump is, in fact, nothing more than an agent for the state of Russia. He is a puppet of Russia. He is Putin's little bitch, to make it plain. So he was asked these questions. He was asked about this issue of whether or not he would ask or demand that Putin renounce what happened in 2016. And he was asked whether he would tell Putin not to do that again. And what did this man, Donald Trump, say? He basically said, well, the intelligence agents said that, the agency said that the Russians did, in fact, intervene in the presidential election. And then he went on to say, well, Putin has denied it. And then he said, I don't know if there's any reason to believe that the Russians would have intervened in the election. This is what Donald Trump is saying. And he says that Putin was extremely strong and powerful in his denial of these allegations. So here you have a U.S. intelligence agency, not just one, but several U.S. intelligence agencies, telling Donald Trump that they have evidence that these Russians intervened in the U.S. elections, tried to interfere with U.S. elections. Never mind what all these intelligence agents have to say, all these agencies have to say after conducting an investigation. As far as Donald Trump is concerned, the word of Putin carries more weight than America's intelligence agencies. I mean, to me, that speaks volumes. That says a lot about Donald Trump. Here's a man that's accused of colluding with the Russians. He's accused of being a puppet of the Russians. And his statements alone just make it apparently clear, just make it abundantly clear that the Russians, in fact, own this man, that they, in fact, control this man, that this man is nothing but Putin's little bitch. It's become apparently and abundantly clear that that's the case. How are you going to be the president of the United States and you have more faith and more trust in an enemy of the United States than you do in your own intelligence agencies that are entrusted with protecting you and apparently the American people, in theory? And let me be perfectly clear about these intelligence agencies. I'm not a fan of U.S. intelligence agencies, as you all know if you follow this channel. I'm not a fan of the FBI. I'm not a fan of the CIA. And I'll tell you why I'm not a fan of either one of those institutions. It was the FBI that had a counterintelligence program against the black community. It was the FBI that wanted to prevent the rise of a black messiah. In their own words, that's the words straight from the counterintelligence program. That's the FBI. It was the FBI that destroyed the Black Panther Party and locked up so many Black Panthers on fake charges, on fraudulent charges, on trumped up charges. It was the FBI that led to the assassination of many black leaders, members of the Black Panther Party, Martin Luther King and Malcolm X. That was the Black Panther, that was the FBI that did that. It was the FBI that sentenced Marcus Garvey on some fake trumped up charges and deported Marcus Garvey, one of the greatest leaders we've ever had in the black community. That was the FBI that did that. It was the FBI that infiltrated nonviolent civil rights organizations, plotted against them. They wanted to prevent black organizations from uniting in a coalition against racism and white supremacy. That was your FBI that did that stuff. So I don't have any love for the FBI. I don't have any respect for the FBI in light of that history. So I just wanted to be perfectly clear about that, before I go into this commentary. I don't have any love for the CIA, an organization that overthrew African leaders on the continent, plotted the assassination of people like Patrice Lumumba, helped get rid of leaders like Kwame Nkrumah. So I don't have much love or respect for intelligence agencies. But then again, I'm not the president of the United States. Then again, I'm not somebody who questions people's patriotism. But here you have a president of the United States, a man that's supposed to embody what patriotism is all about, a man who's supposed to be all about America first. That's what he ran on, America first. But apparently he is putting Russia first, while he severs ties with America's allies and causes tension with America's allies like Canada, like Germany, like England. While he does this, while he goes to these summits, the NATO meetings and the G7 summits, causing conflict and division among allies, this man is cozying up to Putin. This man is meeting with Putin. And when given an opportunity to publicly denounce Putin for intervening in America's elections, for having a chance to confront this man, for trying to undermine democracy, this punk-ass coward, Donald Trump, basically sucks off Putin. Talks about how Putin was extremely strong and powerful in his denial. He's going to take the word of America's adversary over the word of U.S. intelligence agencies. And then you have Fox News, a channel that's supposed to be all about patriotism. That's what they tell us. They're constantly lecturing about how certain people are not patriotic enough. But when you had this buffoon of a president, Donald Trump, making a complete fool out of himself, not having the balls to stand up to this man, Putin. When it comes to any other person, Donald Trump is quick to speak out against them, quick to condemn them, quick to throw insults at them, quick to attack them. But when it comes to Putin, this man is a punk. When it comes to Putin, this man is a dog with his tail between his legs, like a coward, like a punk, like a chump. That's your president acting like that. And this man has the nerve to wonder why people question the influence that Russia has over this man. There were reports about how the Russians had a dossier on this man. They got dirt on this man. They've colluded with this man. All these allegations are out here. And by his conduct during this press conference, he is doing nothing but confirming what many of us have already thought about this man, that Putin owns him, that Putin controls him, that Putin is his boss and he gives him orders. That's the impression that one would get. This man has done everything to undermine America's ties to his allies, causing unnecessary conflict with America's allies, doing everything that Russia wants America to do. That's what this man is doing. He can't be trusted as president. and it's time for him to be removed from office. He needs to be impeached. This man needs to be removed from office. This man needs to be taken out. And I'm not talking about with guns or anything like that before the feds get some twisted idea. I'm talking about he needs to be removed from office. We need to start impeachment proceedings tomorrow or yesterday, better yet. This man needs to go. And anybody who supports him, there's something wrong with them. When I hear these Negroes supporting Donald Trump, I'm like, what the hell is wrong with you? Have you lost your mind? That's the first thought that goes through my mind. And I've done plenty of videos about Donald Trump and his detrimental and devastating policies when it comes to black people. And I won't reiterate it here. But even beyond that, you know, these people that are all about patriotism, you know, you have these Negro coons on here that have the American flag in the background, who pretend to be all about patriotism, but yet they support a man who's proven that he is not a patriot, that he couldn't give a damn about America or, you know, what is in the interest of the American people. Instead, he is doing the bidding of America's enemy, one of America's enemies. This man, not only is he sucking up to Putin with this press conference, this man also sucked up to Putin when he talked about how Russia needs to be brought back into the G7. That's your president. This man is a disgrace. He is a national embarrassment. You know, this man's conduct is treasonous. This man is a traitor. This man is unfit to be president of the United States. And again, he must be removed from office. And the first step to making that happen is these midterms. We need to make sure that those Republicans that support his agenda are voted out of office. These Republicans have been exposed as hypocrites. Exposed. It's open and it's plain for everybody to see. These same Republicans that questioned Obama's patriotism, these same Republicans that complained about Obama reaching out to America's adversaries, you know, these people that complained about Obama reaching out to America's adversaries, they have nothing to say about Donald Trump and his failed diplomacy when it comes to North Korea, when he's reaching out and complimenting a dictator who is violating human rights in North Korea. A dictator that because of his actions, an American citizen died under suspicious circumstances. But Donald Trump congratulates this man. Donald Trump flatters this man. Donald Trump flatters this guy, praises this guy. But these same conservatives that had so much to say about Obama are speechless right now. They don't have anything to say about this right now. They're making excuses for it right now. These same people that condemned Obama, they don't have anything to say about a man, Donald Trump, who has more faith in America's adversary than he does in America's intelligence agencies. They had nothing to say about that. These are the same people that want to lecture you about patriotism. These same damn hypocrites want to lecture you about patriotism. They question Obama's commitment to America while you have this buffoon, this damn clown, this idiot in the White House who compliments America's enemies, who makes excuses for America's enemies, who believes America's enemies. He said that this is what he said about Putin. He was extremely strong and powerful in his denial. Who says that kind of stuff, man? Has he forgotten that Putin was one of the leaders of the KGB Has he forgotten about all the dirt that Putin has done around the world? No, he hasn't forgotten. Putin put this man in power so he could control and dominate U.S. foreign policy. And every day we're reminded that Donald Trump is, in fact, Putin's puppet. Putin's puppet. Every day we're reminded of this. And it's time for the American people to do something about this situation, man. If this press conference doesn't wake you up about this president, I don't know what will. I mean, this is like cold water splashed on somebody's face while they're sleeping. You should wake up at this point. You should know that something is wrong at this point. Here you have an arrogant man who doesn't hesitate to insult people. An arrogant man that doesn't have any kind of tact, doesn't have any kind of decency about him. But when it comes to this guy, Putin, he's cowed. He's in a cowardly position. He's in a weak type of posture. He's complimenting this guy. A guy that's been proven to have intervened in America's elections. So, I mean, this is an absolute disgrace. This man has to go. We need regime change right here in America, and that starts with the midterm elections. If you are not registered to vote, you need to register today. You have to register today. So I'm going to look through your comments, and then I'm going to close out this video. I want to thank y'all for tuning in. It's just insane, man, what's going on. Yeah, I have this meeting that I have to go to. So I'm going to try to go through all of your comments before I close out. I want to thank the people who are tuning in. I truly appreciate your service, your support and your service, checking out this, this live stream. I appreciate it. So Minor said, you like Donald Trump? Why do you like him? What is there to like about him? But even you admitted he was so wrong at that press conference. But what in the hell do you like about Donald Trump? I mean, he's a sexist pig. He's a racist. He's an asshole. He's a buffoon, a clown. I mean, help me understand something. What in the hell do you like about that man? Yeah, exactly. Power to the people. I can't repeat what you said on here, but people can watch the playback and read the comments, man. But yeah, Donald Trump, Donald Trump is, man, I'm trying to tone this language down. I already got out of line a couple of times, but y'all get it, man. Donald Trump allowed himself to be played like a sucker. He allowed himself to look like a little punk and a chump before the whole world. Yeah, Donald Trump is a disgrace, man, and I'm glad those people in the UK protested against his appearance there. I mean, this guy, I mean, not that I got much respect for the royals over there, but, for people that hold those royals in such high esteem, this guy showed disrespect to the royals over there. The way he dealt with that queen over there. So Miner said Hillary and Trump are both the same. I don't have much respect for Hillary Clinton either. During the primaries, I supported Bernie Sanders. And when Bernie Sanders lost the primaries, I supported Jill Stein. As you all know, I'm in Maryland. That's a Democratic state. So, Maryland voted for Hillary Clinton. So my vote did not helped get Trump elected. So let's be clear about that. But although I'm not a fan of Hillary Clinton, I think that she would have been a better president than Donald Trump. But that's not saying much because Donald Duck would be a better president than Donald Trump. Mickey Mouse would be a better president than Donald Trump. Donald Trump is a fool. Donald Trump is a disgrace. And every day we're reminded of just how foolish he is. Here you have a man that has zero political experience. And the American people actually voted for this fool. They actually voted to get this fool control over nuclear weapons, control over the military. They voted for this idiot. They trusted this man to make America great and to keep America safe. They trusted a Russian agent to run this country. Man, it's just something else, man. It is just mind-boggling, the fact that American people actually voted for this fool. Miner said that Trump can be rude to everyone else but Putin. Exactly. I mean, this man insults people constantly. Constantly, but he has nothing to say about Putin. And that is not a coincidence. So Makam said, I'm tired of hearing about this Russian connection. MSM has covered this non-story for too long. There are other pertinent issues going on in this country like healthcare, jobs, and immigration. I mean, to brush that aside is ridiculous, especially given the fact that you have all these people who are connected to the Trump campaign being indicted for various charges connected with lying to federal agents, for instance, about their ties to the Russians and all other kinds of things connected to the Trump administration and the ties to the Russians. That is very important. That is important to national security to know whether or not the president of the United States colluded with a foreign power that is hostile to American interests. That is not some story that can be brushed aside. That can't be brushed aside when you have a man that has more faith in the Russian president than he does in his own American intelligence agencies. He's going to take the word of an enemy of the United States over agencies that help the United States. And then when you put that into context, the fact that this man tried to get Russia into the G7, when you put that into context of this man trying to tear down ties between America and its allies, it tells you just how important that issue is. These same people that want to downplay this investigation about the Russians colluding with the Trump administration are the same people that made a big deal out of that bombing that took place at an embassy, and they tried to blame it on Obama. Bengali, I think that's the name of, if I recall correctly, that situation. These are the same people that tried to make a big deal about that gun situation involving the Justice Department. Tried to make a big deal about that and said we need to keep investigating that. But when it comes to Donald Trump, all of a sudden there should be no investigation. All of a sudden they just take this man's word for it, even though these people have constantly lied to you about this situation. You got all these Trump officials, all these Trump campaign officials and people in his administration who told you they had no meetings with these Russians and this and that, but time and time again, they have been proven to be liars. But yet you have this person trying to brush aside this whole Russian thing, this Russian collusion issue. This is a very important issue. It affects national security. It affects the American people's interests. It affects American foreign policy. This can't be brushed aside. Shout out to the real Aaron Collins. So Macom said, do you believe that Russia is the reason Trump was elected, or was it the vote of the American people? I mean, without a doubt, Russia influenced this election. You know, the American people ultimately made the decision by voting for Donald Trump. You know, he won the Electoral College, and we know how that works. I'm not going to go into all the details about that, but those electors vote according to the population that they represent. They are bound to vote that way. You know, technically they can vote against that way, but that is extremely rare. The American people voted him in, but the Russians influenced public opinion. And that's well documented. There are reports that explain how they did it. You know, putting out fake news. And it's funny that Donald Trump, a man that constantly talks about fake news, actually benefited from fake news. Fake news all on Facebook, fanning tensions and division among the American people. Yeah, the FBI and the CIA are racist. Yeah, I don't, like I said in this video, I don't have any trust or faith in them. But then again, I'm not the president, you know. I'm not somebody that's trying to lecture people about patriotism and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, it's not about him being rude to the FBI and CIA. It's about him having more respect for America's enemies than he does for his own intelligence agency. That's what the problem is. And Brian Hall said, let's be real. Trump literally gave Putin a blowjob on live TV. Exactly. That's how you can sum it up. As somebody else was saying in the comment section, he literally bent over and let Putin have his way with him. Live on television for the whole world. America's allies are probably disgusted with this man right now. This man is an embarrassment. Yeah, that's true. I mean, y'all are speaking to the choir when you talk about what the CIA has done. When you talk about them propping up dictators around the world, no doubt that's what they do. Why they talk about some, you know, democracy, why America's like talking about how they're going to war in this country and that country to promote democracy. You have the CIA undermining democracy around the world, overthrowing democratically elected leaders. And Donald Trump openly talked about overthrowing the leaders in Venezuela. This man openly talked about this stuff. Somebody said, wow, such strong language, MP. Well, not, they said laughing out loud, not strong enough. Yeah, I'm trying to tone it down, but I just can't, it's just crazy, man. This Trump situation is insane. Yeah, y'all don't have to preach to me about how messed up the Hillary Clinton is, or how messed up what happened in Libya was. It was totally messed up. And we see the consequences of Obama's action in Libya. We see now that, you know, there's instability in Libya because of Obama's decision to help those people overthrow Muammar Gaddafi. We see what's happening there. We see that African people, black people, are being enslaved in Libya again after Gaddafi was removed from power. So you're preaching to the choir when you talk about that stuff, man. No doubt. I mean, I hear what you're saying. I don't support none of that stuff. So Macomb said, does anyone think he stands a chance of being reelected? Yeah, I mean, I think that it's possible that he will be reelected, unfortunately, man. I think that some of our people, well, let me stop saying our people, some of the American people are so ignorant that they will continue to vote for this guy because he's programmed them. He's told them any criticism of him is fake news. Anytime you see Fox News, a program that's supposed to be all patriotic and this and that, making excuses for this scumbag, that makes it abundantly clear that he can probably be reelected. I'm just going through your comments right now. I don't know who this person is and this troll in the comment section talking about they said, why is Russia always an enemy? Americans are obsessed with Russia. All you have to do is look at, the news and see, what's going on right now, like the tensions between Russia. I mean, Russia has, seized territory like Crimea. Russia has done much to intervene in different elections around the world. I mean, have you forgotten about the Cold War that took place? There's still, to some degree, going on this way, nowadays. All right, so I'm just going to ignore that person. I need some more. Once I get on my computer, once I'm back from this trip, I'm going to add some more moderators. Just. Man, this person, whoever you are, you were just blowing up my whole lives. Okay, cool. Elaine Lloyd took him out. Good. All right, good. Thank you. Okay. So Def Rocker said Republicans are upset with Trump, even Fox News. I gotta check that out because the little bit that I've seen here on YouTube, I checked out. I'm subscribed to Fox News here on YouTube. I saw a couple of interviews where you had these conservatives making excuses for Donald Trump. So I'm gonna check out Fox News to see if they're saying more about this situation. But this man should be done by now. Like after this disastrous press conference, it should be a wrap for him. But I bet, these fools will continue to support him. He may even go up in his poll numbers. That's how idiotic some of the American people are. Absolutely, there is power in the vote, and we need to exercise that power. Yeah, I was talking. SJ said, talked about Donald Trump and the protest in London, in the UK. Yeah, I was mentioning that earlier, and I'm glad that people were protesting against Donald Trump in the UK. BB said that Bernie is a delusional socialist. I don't think so. I mean, I disagree with the idea that he's delusional. I mean, what's delusional about health? Uh, health care for all. What makes that delusional when you have health care for all in Europe, and most of the European countries have that? What's delusional about that? What's delusional about full employment? What's the news delusional about free public college education? These things are realities in Western Europe. So how is that delusional? Yeah, I'm glad Elaine Lloyd took out that guy, man. He was leaving. Whoever that troll was, they left all these endless comments. Yeah, I do need some more moderators, and I'm gonna get them. I don't know how to make people moderators on my phone, but I'm gonna do some. I'm gonna once I get my computer back up, once I get home, I'm gonna make more mods on my channel. Yeah, you're right. Shout out to Psycho. They'll still back this un-American bigot. Exactly. That's what they will do. Yeah, Def Rocker said black people that voted for Trump think that he will offer more employment by keeping companies in the U.S. Well, I saw some reports about how these tariffs are impacting companies. Companies are talking about closing up and, or moving their business elsewhere because of these tariffs that he's imposed on, America's allies and on China and stuff like that. If those tariffs continue for a long period of time or an indefinite period of time, that's going to have an impact on American jobs. You're going to have higher unemployment if that continues to go on. When I get a chance, I'll post links to those articles that talk about the impact of these tariffs on various American businesses. So y'all look out for that. The real Aaron Collins said, no Vaseline. Exactly, man. That's how Putin did it, man. No Vaseline. It's like Donald Trump is like Putin's jailhouse bitch, for real. And I hate to make it, I just got to make it plain, man, in the words of Malcolm, man, because it is what it is. And it's just a shame that these same people that profess to be such patriots will defend this guy, man. Peace to Nikki Justice. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, America looks horrible right now, Lane, because of this guy, man. And I know that guy that used to be the Secretary of State under Trump that was forced out. I know he's glad that he doesn't work for Trump right now. I know a lot of these people, they can't stand working for this guy. I know that some of them are so tired of explaining away his bullshit, man. Especially his press secretary, man. I would hate to have that job. Pure Butterfly Spirit said that America is being set up. People better wake up. They're setting Trump up to dictatorship status. Yeah, if we don't check what's going on, we will wake up and this country will be a dictatorship. All we have to do is look at the history of Germany, how Germany was a democracy and then it turned into a dictatorship under Adolf Hitler. I'm gonna try to make it to the end of your comments before I head out to this other reception I'm going to. Um, Yeah, I think Elaine Lloyd took out that troll cycle. Yeah, I'm gonna hook all of y'all up as soon as I get to a computer. When I get home, I'm gonna add a lot of moderators. I'm gonna add Psycho as a moderator and some other people. I'm just going through your comments, so bear with me. Yeah, Hasib said the doctors in European countries do not get paid as much as doctors here in the U.S. Yeah, I'm sure that they probably don't, but it's like when you have all these different free services and benefits in society, you don't need to make that much money. When you have a free education, for instance, and you have free health care and all those other benefits, you don't need to make that much money. You know, the problem with the medical care system that we have here in America is that it's driven by profit. And when you have such a system, you end up with a lot of people not being able to get health care because they don't, they can't afford to pay for health insurance or whatever. Uh, you know, they lack coverage, and then you have companies that have all these different restrictions and stuff like that to maximize profit. And then you have hospitals and the healthcare industry that doesn't really have an incentive to cure certain diseases because it's more profitable to continue to treat sicknesses instead of curing sicknesses. So it creates a lot of distorted and perverted type of incentives when everything is driven by the market and driven by profit. So yeah, I just think that it's time for the American medical system to modernize. I mean, healthcare should be a right. Everybody should be entitled to free healthcare. Everybody should be entitled to free education through college. I could go on and on about that. Pure Butterfly Spirit said we have a government that doesn't want to care for its citizens. Exactly. Yeah, I am going to make Nikki a mod too. As soon as I get a chance, let me see if there's a way to do it now. I'm going to try to. Oh, it does. I can add you as a moderator now. I'm going to do that right now. Okay. So y'all just got to bear with me. So I'm going to add some moderators now um, that I know how to do it. There was some other people that I wanted to add. Let's see. Yeah, I'll just scroll through, and add people as we go along. So y'all just got to bear with me. I'm trying to get used to using my phone for these hangouts. Yeah, I could get into a whole discussion about socialism. And I plan to do some videos. I want to do a couple of video responses to Yvette Carnell. I want to do one, as somebody suggested, on Pan Africanism because she had this video where she said Pan Africanism is dead, and I saw a little piece of one of her live streams where she's basically saying that we don't have any connection with Africa and African people on the continent and this and that. And she was complaining about continental Africans selling us into slavery and stuff like that. So I want to really take time out to do a comprehensive response on that subject of Pan Africanism. I want to do a video on socialism. You know, we kind of touched on that. I want to do a video on that specifically. So y'all look out for that. These videos will probably come up like sometime. It's probably going to be next week, sometime later next week. Hopefully, I'll be able to meet that deadline, but I plan on discussing that. Pure Butterfly Spirit said, we Americans give so much financial aid to Israel that they get free education, free health care, free housing, and all that. And yeah, I mean, I think that that's a valid point. I've done videos about the Zionists and, just about how much American money is invested in Israel. These same people that complain about welfare in the United States, that want to deprive people of all kinds of social programs, they have no problem pouring billions upon billions of welfare assistance to Israel. No problem at all. But yet they want to lecture when it comes to taking care of the poor in America. They want to lecture people about big government. They want to lecture people about spending too much money. Man, there's a troll on here called Trump is King. Wow. I'm glad Lane Lloyd took that person out. Psycho said he's going to troll these white nationalists. All right, so I see that it's working. So I added some moderators. I know I missed a couple of people that I want to add on here as well, but I'll get you the next time now that I've figured it out. But yeah, I want to thank y'all for tuning in. I appreciate your support. Thumbs up this video, share this video. If you're not subscribed to my channel, subscribe now. Hit the bell so that you will receive notifications anytime I go live or anytime I post a video. So again, thank you for your support. Peace and blessings to every one of you.